My name is Tom Brown. This is FTE 217. Casey Workman is the instructor. This is February the 1st, 2026. This is week 5 assignment. I'm going to do a functions check and then a dummy check first before I move. There's several steps that we got to do. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make my weapon safe, make sure that there's, it's all safe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the magazine. And as you can see, I've already loaded dummy rounds, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull the charging handle to the rear, lock it, and I'm going to visually, hang on a minute. I'm going to visually inspect the magazine and the chamber, physically and visually, and then I should have a safe weapon. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and do a safety. I'm going to release it. Now this is with the safety on. I am going to release the rim, and then I'm going to put the weapon on fire, and then I should just hear a nice smooth release. That means, and then of course you're holding it. I'm going to redo the chamber again, and should not, but it just reset. So basically it's ready to go for that. Now I'm going to demonstrate basically a function check with dummy ammunitions. I've loaded my magazine with the 3 rounds of dummy rounds that I have. I'm going to lock it up into the magazine, make sure it's seated, and then I'm going to pull the chamber and release. There should be a round that came from the magazine into the chamber. So, and the weapon is on fire, and I'm just going to do a live fire. All right, and if that's the case, and then what happens is and there's an extraction, and again the same thing is just like that. Okay, I'm going to explain now what a live fire would look like. I'm not actually going to do a live fire, but I'm going to explain it. So basically I'd have a magazine full of live ammo. I would insert it into the magazine, make sure it's seated, and then what I would do is, being seated, I would release the bolt carrier group to the forward, and it would chamber around into that. That's in a locking position. And then once it's in a locking position, then the weapon, you'd put it on fire, and then you'd pull the trigger and you'd have a fire ignite. Then basically what would happen is it would be extracted, where the bolt carrier group would come back to the rear, and it would eject a round out. It would pull the round out, eject it or whatever, and then basically what it does is it's unlocking when it happens, when that takes place, and then when the bolt goes back forward again, you just chambered another round from the magazine until it's fully empty. Once the magazine emptied, the bolt carrier group would be locked back to the rear, and that's how live fire makes. What we're going to do now is we're going to do basically a trigger assessment, and that's just basically weapon is on safe. I am going to put it on fire. I'm going to release the bolt, and basically do that a couple of times. And just make sure, put the weapon again, look it back, put the weapon on safe. Shouldn't be able to feel anything. But if you put it on fire and you release the chamber, it automatically resets the trigger for a trigger pull. What we're going to do now is we're going to do part 3, measuring the barrel length. Take my cleaning rod. I've taken the upper receiver, detached it from the lower receiver, and I'm just going to insert this basically down into the barrel, making sure that your bolt carrier group is all the way forward and locked. What you're going to do is I'm going to take my marking pencil, and I'm going to, and I don't have my my suppressor or muzzle hider, and I'm going to make a mark. Take that out, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take to the mark that I just made, and with that mark, looking at just a little over 16 inches, 16 and 1/8 inches is the barrel length of this weapon here. Now, of course, if I had my suppressor on it, that's going to be different. But if you want to get the actual measure of the barrel length, that's you do it without the suppressor. Now I'm going to go into part 4 where it talks about measuring barrel twist rate. So what I've done is I've already inserted my my cleaning rod with a cleaning tip on it, you know what I'm saying? I've put it in there so far, and I've made a measurement, and I've stuck my clothespin at 18 inches here. And what I'm gonna do is, as I push this barrel rate in, or push this cleaning rod in 1 full turn. Got 1 full turn, then I'm gonna take another measurement from where I started, exactly 10 inches. So basically you take 18 and you minus the 10, you have a 1/8 turn ratio. This is part 5. Just talking about how you measure headspace, and you measure headspace with the go gauge and the no go gauge measuring gauges. So basically, what you do is you take apart your bolt. You know what I'm saying? You remove basically the extractor and the ejector plate from the bolt carrier, and basically what you would do is you have a go gauge, and basically you just insert that in there. And what happens is if the bolt fits firmly, and again, most of this is usually done before you put a weapon together, things like that. But if it's all the way down and where it sets and it locks, where like it's in a safe spot, then you're looking good. But again, if the no gauge, if you insert that and the bolt itself does not fit in there into the locking in the chamber, then basically your headspace is off. You know what I'm saying? So then again, that would be the no-go gauge and stuff like that. So with that being said, that is how you measure. Okay, we'll go to the last part. We're talking about part 6, where it talks about firing pin protrusion. There's 2 ways that you could do this. So actually, there's several tools you could use. Basically, you insert your firing pin into your bolt carrier group, and basically the old military style firing pin gauge has a minimum and it has a maximum measurement. The maximum is a 0.036, and it basically should just pass over the firing pin without any hit whatsoever. If you use the minimum, the 0.028, there should be just a little bit of clicking at where it touches it. You know what I'm saying? That's the minimum, and you can just feel it just barely going over the top, but you can feel it, whatever. That is the firing pin gauge measuring tool.